Economy ID is a comprehensive economic profile of a local government area or region. It's designed to tell the story of your local economy so you can describe its structure and workforce, build good economic development strategies based on your area's strengths, and promote your economy to potential investors to build local jobs. This is the first in a series of videos about Economy ID, and we'll just give you an overview of what you can find in the site. We'll be using the city of Parramatta as a demonstration. So let's start with the home page, and if you're familiar with ID's website, you'll recognise the layout. You'll find that the menus are all on the left-hand side, and we'll go and have a look at those in detail in a minute. There's a little bit of an introduction and then some key headline numbers, which are some of the key figures that people come to this site to discover. So how big is the economy, measured by gross regional product? What is the population? How many jobs are there in Parramatta? What's the largest industry producing those jobs? How many businesses are there operating locally? And whilst there are 121,440 local jobs, there are in fact 86,000 people who live in Parramatta and who are employed, not necessarily in Parramatta. So you can straight away see that Parramatta actually produces more jobs than it has residents who are employed, which is an interesting indicator straight away. These headline statistics, by the way, are always kept up to date. These come from different data sources, and ID makes sure that each source is updated on the site as soon as that data becomes available. You'll find a map that shows you where Parramatta is, in case you're not sure, and also some news where we point you to interesting articles, often that we've written in our own blog, about things that are happening in the economy. At the bottom, you can get access to ID, find out a little bit more about us, access our Demographic Resource Centre, where you can find economic profiles for over 50 councils across Australia, and download more training videos, follow our blog, and sign up for our newsletter. But back to Economy ID for Parramatta, and we'll just go through quickly and show you what kind of information you can access here. So first up, there's a series of indicators, and these are updated, as I said, at regular intervals depending on the data source. So the population's updated twice a year when the ABS releases its latest population figures. The gross product is updated annually. Local jobs are updated annually. Unemployment is a quarterly update. Building approvals is updated once a year, and retail trade and consumer price index are quarterly updates. These indicators are designed just to give you a quick snapshot of how your local economy is travelling compared to the state and the country. We write up some information about the area to give you an introduction to Parramatta, and also what infrastructure is available in the local area. Then we get down into the detail, and here we start profiling the economy. And we profile it on several key aspects. And really these are things that are key questions that you might ask about an economy. So the first thing you might ask is, well, how big is it? Measured by GRP, and we go into that in some detail. Then you might ask, well, how is it structured? Which industry? And these are a series of pages which look at each indicator by industry sector. So which industries employ the most people in total numbers and by full-time equivalent? Which industries add the most value to their inputs? Which industries output the most, export the most, import the most, sell locally, are the most productive, and which industries have the most businesses? So that gives you a really good understanding of the structure of your economy. And then we look at each industry again in detail and look at how your industries contribute to the state and national economy. Then once you've got a good understanding of the structure of your economy, you really want to understand it in a spatial sense. So where does different economic activity take place across your local government area? Where are the key employment nodes, and how do those employment nodes differ for different industry sectors? So where are your key education jobs? Where are your main manufacturing jobs? Where are the main retail jobs? And how are those linked to each other? So then you understand the structure of the economy and where it's taking place, and then you really want to know who's working in it and where they're coming from. So here we look at where your workers come from by industry. So you might find that you import workers for some industries but export your own residents to work in other industry sectors. And we also look at that same information by occupation so that you can see whether, for example, you're importing knowledge workers and exporting unskilled workers, or perhaps it's the other way around. So once you understand where your workforce is coming from, whether it's very locally contained or whether you're really bringing people in from many areas, we then look at some key indicators of employment self-containment and self-sufficiency. And I won't go into that here. We'll talk about that in a separate video. Then we go into detail about who you're employing. And again, we look at this by industry sector and right down into what's called three-digit industry sector. So not only do we look at manufacturing, but what kind of manufacturing. For example, it might be food product manufacturing. And then we look in detail at the age structure of their workforce, how many hours they're working, what occupations they have to work there, their qualifications, what field of qualification they're employed in, how much they're earning, and how they travel to work. And that's profiling the people who work in different industry sectors in your local area. But if you're trying to attract industries to locate in your area, you might also be interested to know what skills are more broadly available, both locally, so there are people that live in your area and have certain skills, but perhaps they're going elsewhere to work, but you still want to know that those skills are available if an employer decided to locate there. So we look at the skills available locally and also regionally so that you can promote your economy. And then we look in detail, or in some detail, at the market for goods and services in your economy, and that's really looking at who lives there and what are the characteristics of the residents and their sources of income and how much disposable income they have. Economy ID also has some custom industry information. Some industries have custom tourism data, other economies have custom agricultural data, and we also include a whole modelling section where you can look at the impact on your economy if a particular industry sector adds jobs or loses jobs. So there's a lot of information in there, and we'll go through each of these sections in separate videos so that you can look at them in detail. So that just gives you a sense of what this website contains, which is, as you can see, quite extensive, and continue to navigate through the different videos that are available to have a look at what's in each section and how you interrogate and analyse the information that's contained there. Thank you.